In a year in which many Latin American countries will elect a new president, one of the first countries to see a handover in power was Chile. In the late 2017 elections, Sebastián Piñera won a second non-consecutive term in office. He took over from Michelle Bachelet, the third time these two politicians swapped the presidential sash. The handover in Chile does not mean a pendulum swing in policy like in some other Latin American countries, not least when it comes to policy towards its main trading partner, China. Previously ambassador to the Association of Southeast Asian Nations and with experience working at the United Nations, as well as in Europe and North America, Xu Bu recently arrived as the Chinese ambassador to a country that has historic ties to China.
Chile was the first country in Latin America to establish diplomatic ties in 1970. You arrived in the country recently. What have you seen since you arrived, and how do you view the relationship between the two countries?
Ever since, the establishment of the relation, the overall relation between China and Chile, has been developing very rapidly. The political relationship has really promoted a lot for cooperations on other fields, and the two countries has benefited a lot from this, very close relationship. And China has been the largest trading partner for Chile for the last 5 consecutive years. The total trade volume between China and Chile exceeded 34 billion US dollars last year. And remember, the total trade volume between US and Chile last year was about 22 billion US dollars. And
where do you view the areas of growth for Chinese investment in Chile, which has been slightly slower compared to other countries? So where do you see the key sectors for investment?
We believe, there is a big potential. As you have rightly, mentioned, up till now, the Chinese investment in Chile, is not big. The reasons, can be very, complicated. One, it might be, the market, Chile, is very mature. Second, Chile is overall not such a big country. I don't see there is an area which, Chinese investment can be as big as that in Peru or Argentina. But, the two countries are discussing, the possibilities of investing from China in areas like, telecommunication and, even high-speed train. So we'll see, For me, I'm very much, optimistic, regarding the future expanding of Chinese investment in Chile.
Santiago is one of the furthest capital cities from Beijing, along with other cities in the region like Buenos Aires in Argentina and Montevideo in Uruguay. So despite strong historic links and important economic ties, both sides emphasize the importance of developing a broader relationship.
We believe, the cultural part of the relationship is really, the base, the key for a sustainable, relationship between countries. Only better mutual understanding and mutual trust between the peoples, can really, make the overall relationship, sustainable. It's true that, the language is, on one hand, a bridge for mutual understanding. On the other hand, is an obstacle of, understanding of each other. That's why, the two sides, we believe, need to, pay more attention to language, studying and teaching, for each other.
Chile recently hosted the CELAC China Forum, bringing together foreign ministers from the region. On the table were discussions about how Latin America and the Caribbean can work with China on multilateral projects that fall under the guise of the Belt and Road Initiative.
There is a lot of enthusiasm and support from Latin American countries for a Belt and Road. One of the reasons, I believe, is because this Belt and Road Initiative is really something for joint, cooperation and for common benefit and for the economic development for all the countries concerned. The Latin American countries, they are in a period of development which they do need a lot of investment, they do need a lot of trade, they do need a lot of cooperation from other countries. And we believe China is providing this kind of opportunity.
This year has been marked by tension between China and the United States over tariffs. Latin America has strong ties with both countries and is concerned about the knock-on effect.
Personally, I do believe this tension is disturbing and worrisome. This is something not good for global trade, not good for the cooperation between China and Latin American countries, and of course, not good for China and the United States economic and trade, cooperation.
Yet some observers suggest that this tension could even be beneficial for Latin American countries by helping them increase exports.
Is there not a sense where it could even be an opportunity for these countries, or do you view it as something that will ultimately be negative?
I don't think, it will be a good thing, for Latin American countries. As you know well, China has been the largest trading partner, not only for Chile, but also for Brazil and for Peru. And also, China has been #2 trading partner for quite a few Latin American countries like Argentina, like, Mexico. So trade between China and Latin American countries, is really, providing a lot of, benefit for Latin American countries. Of course, for Chinese people as well. When the trade tension between U.S. and China becomes very serious, undoubtedly, the Latin American countries will also be affected because, a lot of Latin American countries rely a lot on free trade, rely a lot on, economic and trade cooperation, and rely a lot, on the proper management of world trade system.